Welcome everyone to a little repair video. This is the aircon and it's dropping, and that is after turning it off. So a little bit crazy story. So that is, as you see, a professional building unit with water chilling on the roof. Chilled water comes in there, goes in there, radiator, right, just like your water cooled PC. And of course that is closed, right? I disassembled that casing there. Already was a little bit annoying, obviously. Then there's a little bit of electronic control there, some fan, dual fan there, blowing air through this filter, here to the two fans, through the radiator, and then there are two mechanical switches to control the airflow to rooms. So far so good. Does also not look amazing, right? So this is like 15 years old. And the crazy thing is, like, the company which has a service contract of this building, to get a little bit backstory, they came like as part of the building service, and the first day they disassembled it and said, it's fine. It's like, yeah, it's fine, right? It's normal condensing, and they left again. It's like nothing to repair, but it continued to drop significantly, like there was a leak, right? And so the issue is, so they came the second day. Well, the only thing is they glued here some bullshit. No, this gluing shit they did here 2 weeks ago, because like, yeah, gluing this, and like it leaked a waterfall, right? It didn't leak a little bit. It leaked like a puddle, like 2 centimeters or stuff. You obviously can't run it like that. And the story why I tell this is not only how ridiculous it is to work with professional companies, but also how easy stuff is to repair yourself. So these metal plates, I'll show you in a second, I will work on those. So they're completely corroded after 15 years. I think maybe it was also not perfectly installed, because this doesn't have much, I mean, it's quite aligned there, so the water is not flowing much through the wastewater pipe, I think. So I guess what happened is that the water, like due to the way it was installed 15 years ago, there was always water standing in there, and all the metal, I'll show you in a second, corroded. And so the second day they said, it's old shit, there's nothing to repair, right? Yes, thank you very much. 15-year-old old shit. And they proposed, this company proposed 2 crazy things. The first thing is they wanted to sell us a whole new unit, apparently 3,000 euro. At least that's what I said, not sure if it's with assembly. And then when we said, this is crazy too much, they even proposed to install a new split unit on the balcony. It's like, yeah, we're not replacing like a professional building system, like for 2,000 euro to save 1,000 euro. I'm not even convinced they can install it for 2,000 euro, like drilling holes into the walls and stuff. But anyway, so in my opinion, both professional opinions, completely stupid. By the way, this is condensing is normal, right? So right now there is chilled water flowing there from the roof, so somewhat condensing is normal. Normally it would be closed and a little bit isolated, so it wouldn't constantly drop as much, I think. Also said that their main defect is like this metal piece, which I'll show you in a minute, which is a little bit corroded, and they wanted, then they even said, yeah, this was quite a huge drop there, right? Just how much is this condensing? So they even said this is so old, like 15 years, they don't get spare parts anymore, right? So they said this metal piece here is defect, or like it's a little bit crusty and corroded, right? And they said they can't sell it to us. They tried, they already for other customers. So we called this company, or my wife called this company and wrote them an email and stuff. And lo and behold, 2 days later, we had an offer from the original manufacturer here of this thing for like 400 euro or so for this metal piece. And I would even consider that. I mean, not only that this building service company said they can't source it anymore, so much to tricky companies just making money. But the thing is also that this radiator doesn't look the most amazing. You might not, well, you obviously see it somewhat. I think it's still kind of okay, but certainly not amazing. Not sure how many more years that will survive. So I'm not spending 400 euro on just a bloody metal plate. So the reason is why I make this background story is to point out how ridiculous it is to work with these companies. Not only in the car business, also in the building business, right? Probably it's known that the building business is kind of tricky and at times cheating and stuff. But yeah, selling us a bloody metal plate when, I mean, the other thing is also, I would actually rather spend this money to source a new radiator for, I'm not sure how much that would be, if 500, 700, hopefully less than 1,000, because everything else is fine, right? The the fans are fine, the electronics are fine, and so on. I mean, why also for the environment, right? Why recycle all of this stuff, aka landfill, then all you need is a new radiator. You also don't throw your PC away just because you need a new radiator or car, right? So I'd rather spend this money. So what I will do now, long story short, I will try, it's because the only thing is that this condensing water, especially like huge amounts of that when it's in operation and blowing the room air through that. So I will do that myself now and save. By the way, later, this company, even like a week later or 2 weeks later, they now sent us actually an offer after they told us they can't do something. So we unexpectedly got an offer, and that was over 1,000 euro for, they have some markup, I'm not sure, that might have been 600 euro or so. So we would get it for 400, they would sell it to us for 600 or something. And they quote 8 freaking hours for installing a metal plate. I mean, even for me, not knowing how to disassemble it, it took 30 minutes to get this metal stuff out there. So yeah, just some crazy stuff. So you can now watch me how to get this waterproof. I might also, because that is probably intentionally a little bit installed skewed, so that maybe the water runs out more through this water pipe. So I might actually lift this a tiny bit up there on this screws there on this corner, just because I have the impression that this water was always standing in there. So anyway, long story short, how to hopefully easily save. Did I say the final? So their final quote was over 1,000 euro, right? For this part, plus 8 hours freaking for what installation, I have no idea. Super crazy stuff. So in today's video, saving somewhere between 400 for this part, 1,000 for this company, or 3,000 for a new unit, just by uncrusting this metal. By the way, I also find this a bit unprofessional. So without this metal pipe, this radiator would fall out. I put this support beam is usually there. So this is also really crazy that, in my opinion, also not an amazing design. By the way, design tip, I think this has multiple design flaws. One design flaw is that this metal pieces probably should be coated because they were not even stainless and they are fully crusted. And this radiator is standing in this water, right? So this radiator here, not even sure if this is installed correctly, but this is how we got it. This radiator should also not constantly stand in all the water and have some centimeter of clearance, in my opinion. But I also think that units like that should rather be built to last 30 years, in my opinion. So this is like 15 years now. In my opinion, also, professional building installation stuff should be designed to at least last 30 years. And we are now at like 15 and it's leaking, right? And they either want to do bullshit or install a new unit. This is also, in my opinion, not how it should be in this day and age. This stuff with just a few design quirks, like having that little bit more clearance, having this metal stuff more coated, it could easily double the lifetime, but maybe that is certainly not what these companies want. So let's go to the balcony and uncrust this. I brought fiberglass and force spachtel stuff, and so let's uncrust it and stuff and see how we can, hopefully for a material cost of less than 20 euro, get this operational again. So these are these pieces, as you see. As you see, they obviously corroded and crusty and stuff, but I wouldn't even call it that bad. I mean, that's the other side. So yeah, let's just clean. I mean, certainly with that, even if installed imperfect, water's obviously standing, accumulating, not flowing away even more. So let's uncrust that. This is the other pieces. I think, in my opinion, it's also just stupid to throw it away, right? I mean, obviously it doesn't have a hole, right? It only needs some cleaning and polishing and stuff. And then I didn't try that. I will today use this polyester with reinforced with fast fiber. So what did let's also use it, curves and bolts and stuff. So your line. So let's get this uncrusted and see how we can get this. And what I meant actually, in my opinion, maybe this should have been like polyester coated or something from the factory to last 30 years, but yeah. Some pro tip in between, always use gloves. Might look silly, but your hands stay so much more awesome if you don't dry them out with all the crust always everywhere. So this fits together like that. Here's the radiator, and then the condensing water drops onto there. It should flow there, and I guess it stands then, as you see, then probably as high as there. I guess here is then where it must have always quite. I mean, it doesn't obviously not flow away perfectly, right? I wonder why this company didn't design this somehow better. And then obviously there's only like less than a centimeter, that like 6 millimeter or something. Probably this is enough, so this water drops probably out of there if it doesn't flow away. Yeah, especially if this is here too crusty. So yeah, everything a little bit smooth, and hope we're back in business. So then paired with some sandpaper polishing. But it also boils down, in my opinion, that nowadays people and companies simply don't repair stuff. They just dispose it instead of just cleaning it and polishing it a little bit. Ridiculous. So after some 15 minutes of sandpaper, that is all we got out of there. Looks much better already, but a little bit fine polishing. And again, we use this glass fiber reinforced polyester. So that's the water. Not that it's watertight, of course it still is, but it will still continue to oxidate. So to make a real, hopefully oxidation proof polyester coat on there, so that the water flows away much better in the future. So some probably 30 minutes of polishing there. Probably okay-ish. Let's clean that up. So then 2% hardener. Hope that was somewhat okay. The only thing is you need to quite mix it now. That is not the easiest thing until the hardener is very evenly distributed. So maybe for most people simply using spray paint is some easier coating, but we will find out the hard way. This is for sure not enough, so we will need to do quite some layers. I also think I will try to apply it so that it's thicker here, so it's naturally flying a little bit there, but yeah, that will take a while. So a little bit disappointed of this progress, so it's way more difficult to apply evenly. Maybe I should also only have used the plastic spatula here. So yeah, I will do a second coat. I thought I could like coat it once easy, but yeah. Also in retrospect, maybe I should have, instead of this overkill solution, have applied one layer of base paint and or like spray painted properly. Maybe even with plastic dip or something. It's probably magnitude easier to apply evenly, but that's what we got now. So second layer, evening it out, and let's hope it still works. Maybe I actually should still spray paint it for a little bit more water repelling even layer or something, but yeah, we will see. So the result is okay-ish, but not as perfect as I hoped for, but that is the reality if you only do this once in 5 or 10 years. If you do this more often, then of course the results are better. I also don't have more polyester Spachtel there. Maybe ideally it would be better to have a second coat. I have like a second here, but again, I would have hoped it would have been easier to make it really plain. So I will polish that some more, and due to that I'm also, if I would do that again, I would probably only use paint, and maybe even this plastic dip or stuff, but that's what it is now, and I will smooth it out a little bit, and then I will paint it a little bit just to make sure I don't want to have any more corrosion, so just to make sure that the metal is covered everywhere. So holes there, and then I first want to get some understanding if like tweaking the main machine and tweaking that here gets this massive leakage under control. So Again, not the most perfect result. I hope at least it prevents corrosion. Let's make it a little bit more smooth here, and we are also here to learn. Maybe the next time we'll only paint it. So let's get started. So that is the final result. Hopefully it looks on 4K camera better in real life. Could have been a little bit better, but then I don't work with that every day. That is the other relatively nice, right? Also, yeah, 2x sanding and 2 layers of paint. I hope that's better. But again, this was not the root cause, which is why I mentioned why it is so ridiculous. I measured that condensed wastewater pipe is way too level, so most likely that doesn't flow nicely. Where maybe another year I need to get there a little bit more gradient into that, and so that is why this water probably jams there, gets stuck there, and then corroded all of that and dropped out. So this actually, I only noticed working on this, so this piece there wasn't even watertight. Yeah, this could have been a little bit better, but so yeah, probably most of the water flew out there. It's just like one metal sheet there, sheet on sheet. So that is yeah, probably imperfect construction, imperfect design. This is, especially as this there looks to be some overflow, which also would have been amazing if this would not be covered with foam, but I guess that is where probably here most of the stuff flew out, and so it's probably most likely that corner where most stuff leaked out. But again, and then they want to sell you this overpriced stuff for installing it for 8 hours for the root causes. The wastewater pipe. It's ridiculous. Anyway, let's get it back together. I hope I remember most stuff. It's been a week. Yeah, there was also one screw. I'll show you a photo. The cable, the electric cable, were squeezed there with the mount on the ceiling. So that was also not amazing. And I also, so I freed the stuck cable and also pulled it a little bit up so that it has a little bit higher level for the water to flow out. It's ridiculous. But also, yeah, sink the stuff through. I don't just pay some flakes €1,000 and especially 8 freaking hours installation, right? Hilarious. And then I don't know if they're just stupid or it is their system to sell people who don't have any technical knowledge some spare part, and then it still leaks, and then they have the next €1,000 invoice to change the next part potentially. I'm not saying that that is their modus of operation, just it looks a little bit to me. I mean, they can't be that stupid to think that just a new part changes leaking when the root cause is something else. But anyway, that's what it is. Let's get it back together and hope it's better. And I will actually also glue this tape I had in stock here, just actually not even sure what I brought this for, but I will glue this insulation tape here on those handles or edges of this radiator here left and right, just so that it has maybe even that side, because it's actually hanging even with the gradient, especially that side, so that is holding on the pipes, and a little bit with one metal flip there, but that side was also just sitting in the water on this metal plate, and that's certainly not ideal. So probably like glue 2 slices there and one there, just there it would block the water actually, but yeah, maybe like just a corner here on those corners, because obviously a slice would block the water flow, but just so that it sits with a millimeter or 2 or 3 more clearance and not sit there and oxidate. I mean, it will still sit. It's obviously not new. It would be better if they from the factory. In my opinion, just some improvements of detail, and it's also hilarious that in some €3,000 so a new unit, these tiny little things are not perfect. You would rethink. I mean, maybe it's squeezing that profit to, like, everyone's looking for the best price, and then for the best price you get some imperfect stuff. But with just the tiny little improvements, I would think it doubles the lifetime of this for surely from 50 to 30 years or something. especially in this day and age, global climate crisis and waste crisis and resource crisis, we should design machines so that they last way longer than 15 years in this case. So actually there was also some metal nose, only now I realized it in full. So it was actually pretty time consuming to disassemble it because I didn't have a explosion diagram, and yeah, so loosened that. There are some side screws there, just for your orientation if you do something on such an aircon. And so the other piece is hanging there, so that part is also resting on the sides, and here with the whatever. Yes, this stuff is obviously crusty and 15 years old, right? Don't look there too much, just that you have some. And this screw also, it probably wasn't me who dented that, it also was already. And so there's a screw with a cable which was squeezed in there. So now, after knowing all the construction more, there's also the radiator presses there way more. You see that. Need to see if I can move a little bit, but there at the top there's barely more space, so it's also really strange that this radiator pipes are pressing there on this metal, which obviously is already stuck in place, right? So given how much space they have there, it's really strange how on the last millimeter I'm pressing. It's probably also pressing down there too much for a nice gradient for the water flow. It's hilarious, but that's what we are here for on this channel. So yeah, so 10 seconds, you don't roll on camera. Yeah, so pressing into the insulation foam there, so really tight in there. Somewhat crazy, I would say. Actually, no, I'm a bit puzzled of the dimensions and fitting. It continues to be even more stupid. I realize the beginning and end of the radiator, but more important is the beginning, at least where the water side is. The rectangular tube sits directly on the water flow. I mean, the radiator is literally blocking all the freaking water flow. I mean, who designed that? It's no wonder that it's standing 15 years in water and corroding. So, and back together this, of course, as flimsy as I thought it would be. And then this final cover there. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago this company was includes this shit over there. I mean, yeah, it's insulating a little bit, but I mean, yeah, theoretically maybe it would make sense to cover the whole casing here. I mean, it's insulated inside. But I mean, yeah, what incompetent professionals, right, to glue the shit, but yeah, can just leave it there, but nobody sees it. But it's ridiculous anyway. Obviously, yeah, I can't efficiently test it without it, because obviously it sucks all the air in, not through the filter, and blows air out from the fan and stuff, so yeah. Pro tip, have the tools in the pocket. At least we drop it's closed like it's a proper tap channel. Oh, by the way, the company didn't even use proper tools, they just used the monkey wrench and mangled all the screws here. It's ridiculous. Professionals. Here's even good. I only see that. No, here's even some crust. I wonder if this is all. Don't tell me this is all corrosion from what have they? Yeah, gluing over some indicators where water's flying out to can't mix this stuff up. Yeah. So we are mostly done, except for screws. I need to check where exactly I took them out, but obviously not the most important. So yeah, it's probably best to leave it running and with the bucket there and see if water comes only out of the proper condensed water, wastewater exhaust there. And otherwise, if that is the last scene, then I hope you learned something. That is how you save 1,000 to 3,000 bucks and learn this thing. And also, for me, always important to understand how it looks inside, right? If professionals do something, they, as seen here, they so often, I had this, so few times I employed professionals, always shit happened. Maybe that's due to me, maybe I'm a bad manager of managing professionals, but maybe there's something in it also what horror stories I heard from friends and neighbors. And otherwise, at least I now know what is the state inside there and if something happened, what it could be, and not always relying on calling in professionals that do shit, tell you some bullshit fairy tale and just take your money. Otherwise, hope you learned something. Always consult your building code and you're your own warranty, and don't sue me if something goes wrong and you get an electroshock and stuff. And always pro tip, fuse out and stuff. And thanks for subscribing, sharing, and see you next time.